Hey, hi, this is DawnSherine. Welcome to my podcast, Dancing with Bipolar Redu. Hope this finds you all well enough. It is Saturday, the 13th of September, and it's somewhere around 4 in the afternoon, something late 3-ish, or I don't know. It's in that time period. It's late-ish afternoon after 3. Holy moly. I went for a walk and my allergies just about killed me, so I actually took allergy medication before I even went on my walk, knowing it would be bad, but wow, it's bad. I forgot how it can get. Like, this is like my first season in South Dakota, right? So I'm not ready for this. I remember my first season in Arizona, I legitimately thought I was gonna die, so I just got to stay proactive. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. There's so much bloom and it's so beautiful, and there's so much, like, the leaves are starting to switch, and it's fall. It's fall here. But there's something that's definitely getting me. So I'm not sure. But anyway, I mean, if that's all I got to deal with, then I can deal with it. I can be a little groggy on the antihistamine, and I can get by. It's like it's been a weird couple days, and I'm not going to go into it because I'm not. But it's been a weird couple days, and September 11th came and went, and I was going to do a show, but because of all the other news surrounding the date this year, I opted not to, because the energy just felt wrong. So, I will now kind of attempt to broach the September 11th, and I don't know, whatever else is going on, like, because I've been having some revelations, and they're interesting, and a lot of it does have to do with Christopher and the what ifs, right? Well, I mean, we're 5 years out now from his suicide, and it's funny. It's not funny, but it's unreal that at the time when it happened, it was the most strategic pain I have ever felt in my life, right? And it's like such an impaling of your senses that I don't know that I could ever, oh man, it's something I would never want to ever go through again. But it's just like such a numbing and a kind of like a disappearance, kind of like an amnesia kind of thing, right? And because it happened during COVID, which is kind of like another, like, amnesia thing. Like, we all went through it, right? But it's kind of wavy, right? Like, oh yeah, COVID, that thing that happened. And it's like, yeah, but it was a daily thing that we got through, and it wasn't always easy, and it wasn't always understood. And I still don't think it's actually understood, quote unquote, but it's kind of like that whole, like, wavy period of 5 years, because it seems like 2025 is like everybody's kind of starting to shake the sleep off and be like, what just happened? Like, and Christopher's suicide happened in that period of time where, I wasn't mentally doing well at all, and, then that happened. And then COVID was really happening, right? So it was like all those restrictions and all that weirdness around COVID and masks and depersonalization. Yet I never actually felt more empowered than I did during COVID, not having to show my face, oddly enough, right? But we're showing half a face or quarter, whatever, right? Quarter of a face. But, like, it's all kind of dreamy, right? Like, yeah, I did that, but I didn't really do it consciously. It was really subconsciously that I like drifted through that period of time. I mean, the pain of his suicide definitely lessened year after year, right? But not to a point of ever forgetting that wrench of that impossible information coming from your brain to the rest of the senses of your body, and just having to literally short circuit. I mean, it's kind of like everything, just all the bells and whistles went off, and then they all just stopped. That's how it was for me anyway. And it took a while. I was hospitalized a couple times, and a couple times for a long time. And I just, and then I have to go back to the, like, if he had not done that, if like these things had not played out the way that they had played out, would we be speaking anymore? Would we even be friends? Would the greater impact and influence he had on my life due to his choice, what would have happened? Like, would I have stayed trafficked had I not heard about his death, right? Would I have just succumbed to wherever that was going to? I mean, would he, I don't know, would I eventually have reached out to him and had him come to, rescue me? Or would he have succumbed in a different way? And, right? I mean, because all the things that have happened to me since the suicide have not all been positive, but they have all led to a positive direction, right? I stopped doing a lot of things I was doing. I left crowds that were bad for me, and I still do that now without even a second thought. I learned discretion through this. I learned grace through this. I learned that not everybody is gonna listen to me when I talk about Christopher and think about it the same way that I do, and I still think about Hope Cottage and that person who literally told me that Christopher was burning in hell, like the first date night that I was in there fucking fucked up and not realizing that I was in a cult yet and all that shit. But whatever, that's all its own story. But so no, it wasn't all good. And I still have that weird shadowy COVID dream feeling like maybe he didn't really die, maybe there was something else to it, which I have actually talked about a couple times on other shows a long time ago, my theory of possibility of what really could have happened had it not been deemed a suicide, right? But the reality is that's probably not what happened. But it kind of like the movie Big Fish, it makes a really bad life experience a little more bearable, where it's not just like he just killed himself. It's like, well, maybe he didn't. Maybe he, the superhero tale continues. And I like to go to that one sometimes because it's a lot easier than thinking that he was so unhappy and so done with everything. And again, in the middle of the COVID swimmy dream time where temperatures had to be taken to enter stores and everybody was just all kooking out, and it was just a really uncomfortable, scary time those first couple months in. And actually he did it in, like, so by the time he had made his decision, like, we were months into COVID, but it was still, there was still a lot of law and regulation and just stupidity around it and ignorance, and nobody knew still, and still I still don't think anybody really knows. But that's like, I don't want to get into that either, but, so yeah, so, you know, without his death, I wouldn't have grown to where I'm at now, because I never would have had to have pondered the way bigger questions that you don't even know exist until an experience like this comes in front of you, and you either choose to heal the best you possibly can from it, or you just choose to remain drowned in it, you know. And I can't help people if I'm drowning, right? I can't help people if I'm drowning. And I'm never perfect about anything I do, you know. I mean, there's times I think about Chris and what happened, and I literally do break down. It's less. Well, nothing be like our first year, but moments happen and things happen. I'll see something or I'll hear something, and music is a huge trigger for me, you know, good and bad. And, you know, and I'm back to moments of just something I'll never experience again, because what we had was once in a lifetime, for real, for real, for real, for real. Like, you know, and I'm glad that I got to experience it for the time I did. Not everybody gets to meet the love of their life each time they go around, right? And I met him this time. I got to spend time with him. I got to know him, and that dull ache of not having ever had that, that's gone. But now there's that dull ache of having had that and never having it again. But at least I know it exists, and at least I know that that purity of heart and soul and love and intimacy, but in a way deeper way than most people even think about, is real, and it does exist, and it still exists. You know, I mean, we got different planes and different mindsets and different consciousnesses and all this stuff, and I'm not gonna go into that, but you know, and then I've been thinking lately too, like, you know, maybe God just, maybe he gives us like that eject button of being able to do that, because if he didn't want us to be able to cease an unbearable pain on our own, he would have made some kind of a fail switch that we wouldn't be able to. You know, I've been thinking a lot about that. I mean, it's a theory, but you know, he did do everything else to perfection. So I think he probably pondered that too and was like, well, the least best option, but it's here. You know, because I don't think Christopher went to hell at all. I think Christopher was in so much pain that he was already in hell. So wherever it is that he did go to would have been better than what it was that he had created for himself, you know. And then I sounded all politically correct and all weird about this, but it's like I've had a lot of time, you know, it's 5 years out from that time, and things have changed, and I'm not in Arizona anymore, which I think lessens the pain, the depth, the pulse of what happened. You know, his mom died right before I came out to Rapid City, so like her grief and grief energy isn't present anymore, you know, so there's not that anymore. I really don't have contact with his other family. I'm friends with a couple of them on Facebook, that it's superficial at best. So, you know, it's just like nobody wants to be the first one to unfriend somebody, but we really have nothing in common anymore besides memories, and not even probably similar memories at best anymore, because, you know, some people continue doing things and some people got their ass together and stopped, you know. So, like, even that's not the same anymore. We don't even have, like, the same memories anymore now, like, perfectly recreated memories of things that aren't the same, right? That's kind of deep, actually, but it's kind of deep, but, anyway. So, other than that, I've got like a lot of work to do, and I've just been kind of like bailing on doing stuff because of my allergies and just feeling kind of But the paper thing is going good, and I already had a story in the hopper, so I didn't have to worry about that. So something will be published tomorrow, and then I have all these half stories that I'm waiting for, like one fact or like one thing to come through to finish them, and I haven't really been on it lately, checking stuff, so I could be pleasantly surprised and have everything ready to go. And then it is only Saturday, right? So I got all day tomorrow to whatever. Like, I know exactly. Whatever. Dudes and dudettes and people. I mean, it gets tough out there, and sometimes I know it feels like we're just like fighting always an upward battle. But just think how much harder it would be if it was a downward battle. Man, you lose your footing all the time, and you never like get grip, and you just slide. And at least we're fighting an upward battle, right? It's easier to like dig in and fight up than down. So it's a positive, guys, and all you out there fighting your own silent battles and doing your own stuff. I'm so proud of y'all, man. Like, for real, for real. I couldn't be prouder of all y'all out there putting a positive face towards mental health and trying to help other people. You are the true superheroes of this game, and you know, it's awesome. This is DawnSherine, and thanks for listening to my podcast, Dancing with Bipolar Redu. And hey, let's all stay alive, okay? Later.